Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, we're going to take a good look at an organization called SCORE. I know them well, and they have been the oldest and largest group of business mentors in the country. Their journey just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, if you are a small business owner or a startup, listen up because you want to know about this next organization. It's called SCORE, and back in my public speaking days, I spoke quite a bit to these organizations, and they're unique in the country. They are people from all walks of life with all kinds of expertise who lend their expertise to startups and business owners who are struggling. Bob Siffermann, he is the District Director for North Texas for SCORE. Thanks for coming on the show.
Well, hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. I want people to know a little bit more about you, Bob, because so many business consultants have read books on on business, but they've never actually been in the trenches. So tell us about your career.
So I was 43 plus years in sales and marketing. I did a lot of things wrong. That's why I think I'm a pretty good SCORE mentor, because I've experienced it. It's not that I was that smart, but that I did experience a lot. I had a lot of failures, but most importantly, I learned from those failures. So, as I said, I was 43 years. I was in technology. I'm actually from Chicago area originally, and when I started right out of college, I sold computer mainframes, hardware, evolved into a startup, working for a software company that sold to hard goods small company distributors. And actually came down to Dallas-Fort Worth area about 30 years ago to take over a company that we bought and take over their sales and marketing. Did that and then evolved into sales for business consulting services, and then started my own company with a couple other people in North Dallas to do business consulting for small businesses. And we kind of retired or went out of my second phase where you did a lot for pay to now being able to give back to the community, and that's when I got involved with SCORE.
And that means so much because you've been there, done that, you have the T-shirt, is when you're working with a small business owner who's struggling with something, chances are you've seen that before.
Yes, we have. It's you do have it, and you know the one thing I think from the SCORE perspective or any mentoring standpoint is you've seen it, but you want to be careful to say, hey, I know the answer. Okay, I know what you're experiencing. Because a lot of times when you mentor, and especially with SCORE, you really got to sit back and listen to them and listen to them as individuals, not just their business needs and what they're saying. Because people like to be heard, like to be understood. So we have been there. We try to not be a know-it-all, as we say, and try to address it to their needs. But it does help a lot in being able to help people along and to avoid major pitfalls or major financial missteps.
Yes.
That's most important.
Which is the lifeblood of every organization. We're going to pull up the website, and as we scroll on the website, it amazes me that you guys have been in business now since 1964. That is a long time.
That is. It's, it's, again, some people just all of a sudden come up with the idea that we can help small businesses. Started out an organization in the Midwest, and then gradually we're a nonprofit. We have 9,000 volunteers in the United States from a SCORE perspective, and about 220 chapters in SCORE. So we service an enormous amount of customers. And in North Texas, we do about 550 mentoring sessions a month.
Wow.
North Texas being Dallas-Fort Worth, and we have about 190 volunteers in DFW. And we do about 15 workshops a month that are created by SCORE in Fort Worth or Dallas from that standpoint.
So if a small business owner is struggling with marketing or something like that, you're able to go to your volunteers and say, who's our best mentor?
Right. We can do that, or the client can do that. The mentee can do that. So our website is set up that a client or mentee can come in and say, hey, look, I need somebody with sales and marketing. I need somebody with technology background. I need somebody with software application background, and it will pull out everybody that's within those chapters. And if they're interested, anybody in the United States within SCORE, within those chapters, and they can directly connect to that mentor. So SCORE can say, hey, I think this is the best fit, or the client itself can get on the website and say, hey, this is the fit I want. I should go right to that person. So we can do it either way.
Outstanding. I was on the SCORE website, and they have a number of people stories. I found one that I really like. Let's go ahead and roll that.
Great.
What's really special about my business is that my life purpose found me. Sour Slice Bakery specializes in gluten-free and plant-based baked goods. We particularly have a focus on European French-style pastries. We customize look-alike products that compete with wheat. So you'll see American-style cinnamon rolls, gluten-free wood-fire pizza crusts. We make cookies, cakes, you name it. And it wasn't easy at first. I just ran out and got a business license after culinary school, but then I was stuck because I could bake good, but I didn't know how to run a business. And so I reached out to Seattle SCORE. The tools they have are remarkable. The mentors are remarkable. You know, you have to really get involved and realize that they're not just gonna tell you what to do. They're really gonna help coach you and mold you and develop you into being a great CEO or a great digital marketer. SCORE is just amazing. I mean, I can't say it enough. It's really amazing. It's helped me go from startup to grow to more growth to more growth. And having SCORE and your mentor to rely on for some solid advice is impeccable. It's priceless.
So powerful. And Bob, I know you've seen a lot. Is there a commonality in the problems that small business owners face?
Again, as I said, I'm sales and marketing focused. I'll get a lot of people interesting like, hey, I built it and nobody came, or not as many people came as I thought, or I'm not getting what I thought. Or should I, what social media platform should I use? Should I use Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever the case might be? And I always go back to the question of who's your target market?
Yes.
And it's really interesting, Jeff, because a lot of times people struggle with that. Even people that have been in business for a long time, they'll say anybody that buys anything, and that's not your target market, okay?
Right.
So I think the biggest misstep that we see, or I see, is that people don't understand who they're selling to, okay? So they need to spend the time to do the research to really focus onto their target market. And that means really defining demographics.
Right.
So the age group, is it a man or woman that's buying this? Do they have a certain disposable income? And that takes some effort. Sure. And we work with them in defining that. And then the second piece off of that is, and I learned this a long time ago when I was selling computer hardware, and I figured out maybe I wasn't meant for sales when I presented a product to a customer, and I nailed the presentation for 20 minutes, and then when it was done, the guy pulled back his chair and said, all I can say to you is, so what? Kind of went in a fetal position for about a month or a week or so, so maybe sales not met, but it was a learning experience where I talked about earlier where a failure comes into place. Is that what he was telling me is that you just dumped on me function feature, okay?
Right.
And if you notice, a lot of businesses just do that. This is what we do. People don't care what you do, okay? What they do is care about what problems you solve, okay?
Yes.
So the focus is really getting into that. So that's what I would suggest is a lot of people rethink that whole process to develop a target market and a value proposition that addresses solving problems and not what you do.
And you can save people a fortune because I've heard this story before where this couple, they take their entire nest egg and they say, this town needs this kind of restaurant. And then they plunk it down into this restaurant and they make a number of different missteps and suddenly their nest egg is gone.
Right, and that's a great point because we do run across a lot of that. Or people that's saying, I don't like my job, I don't like my boss, what should I do? And a lot of our mentoring is making sure people don't start a business. And I don't mean that negatively, but don't invest in a business to lose their money, okay? We really want to be careful and we're working with clients so they're not pulling out their 401ks, okay, or, without thinking through what they do. So what they've done, I should say. So we're very focused in making sure you're planning correctly. You don't unwisely invest, whether it's restaurants, are the location the correct, retail, how do you address that market? So that's one thing we're very focused on. It's not maybe they don't start a business, but it's maybe better that they didn't at this time until they get it mentor.
And I can't believe it's free. Do you ever get people saying, "What's the catch?"
Yeah, what's the catch? Why do you do all the time? And we got to really convince them we really are free. Okay, we do charge for some of our workshops, but usually they're pretty, $90 maybe, depending on content. Yeah. But most of them are free. So we are somewhat self-funded, so we depend on that. But it is free. It is truly free, and it's also when you connect with a mentor like myself, and I'm sales and marketing, and you need accounting expertise. You don't have to stay with me, so you can go to that expertise. So you can also bounce around in mentors, which people get real excited about too.
Outstanding. Final thoughts. What would you like to leave people with?
Well, I think the thing I'd like to leave people with is really understanding the significance of the small business market or community. I don't think in general a lot of people appreciate the size and the impact that has within the local community. For example, if you look at job growth over the last 24 years, 66% of all job growth has come from small businesses.
Wow.
Okay. If you look at in regards to money spent, if I go invest with a barber shop that's owned here locally and I invest $10, $6.80 comes back to the local community. If I went to a barber shop that was a national chain, only $4.30 comes back.
Wow.
So you've got that coming in. Thirdly, I should say that about local communities increase their giving to charitable and organizations 250% more than larger companies do. Okay?
Wow.
And then also the last thing I bring out is a lot of companies look and say, well, small companies aren't innovative. They're not technology focused. They don't come up with new techniques, new ways to address businesses or economy. And I would say two things. Number one, small businesses did the best job in adapting to COVID, okay, like takeout and everything else. And they still are doing a good job in doing that. But I think secondly is that it's per employee of a small business, they do 19 times more patents than large companies do.
Really?
So innovation sits in small business, growth sits in small business, giving back to the community sits in small business.
Outstanding. We're going to end with the website, which is score.org. The great Bob Siffermann. Thanks for coming on the show.
Well, thanks for having me. Appreciate that.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.